What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing, my favorite part about Tiege Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Are you guys excited for Friday? I'm excited for Friday. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to live stream tonight. I want to, but I think that I want it to be a little bit different. I don't think that I want it to be the normal after hours. I think I'm going to remix it a little bit. I got some ideas. That's one of the benefits of having freedom and independence, is because you can kind of do what you want to do when you want to do it, and you're not required to stick with anything, or I can just kind of rock out how I want to rock out. What's going on, friends and family? I'm excited. It's Friday. It's Friday, March 22nd, 2023. 2023. Why do I keep saying 2023? I'm trying to figure out what is going on right now. I realize what's going on. I don't have the big TV in front of me to be able to see all comments. Give me a second. Something is off. I don't know why I ain't got the big TV in front of me. I moved it back yesterday, and I don't know. I was out of my mind, but there we go. We're going to get it popping. Because I can see all comments on here, but I want to see it directly in front of me. It's got to be aesthetically pleasing. But I'm thinking about doing something tomorrow or tonight as far as live streaming. But I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm not quite sure what I want that to look like. What's up? Oh, man, J Dubs over here blessing me, taking care of me, making sure Ton Dog is in a good space. I appreciate you, J Dubs. Let me, for Fortune on a Friday, Mike that dude showed up on Cash App. Shout out to Mike that dude. Christopher Mayberry is in the building, says I'm paying on my IRA for 2024 and the deadline is 2025. Shout out to Chris Mayberry. Appreciate you. Frank White, the real Frank White. What up to all of my friends and family out here getting it and popping off. Let me get y'all up on my TV. There y'all go. What up, friends? How y'all feeling on this beautiful Friday? It's Friday. Charles Pryor says, top of the morning to the chasers and blessings to you, big dog. We got a lot to cover, friends. How y'all feeling? One word in the chat. As a matter of fact, let me revise that. I need to know where y'all tapping in from today. I don't want to know how you feel. I know how you feel all the time. It's snowing out here in Detroit. I said, what is going on? I see you feeling phenomenal. Nope. I want to know where y'all tapping in from. Where y'all gonna be voting from this November in this election? Where y'all tapping in from? Let me know where y'all tapping in from so I can see what's happening. I see y'all feeling good and y'all feeling excited. Said America's on borrowed time. I think not. Not as long as I'm here in the United States of the Americas. Spokane, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Memphis, Brooklyn, Cincinnati, Long Beach, Orlando, West Philly. Shout out to Africa, Central Texas, Concord, Baltimore, Montgomery, Alabama, the Bay Area. I've been holding y'all accountable. Charlotte. It's snowing in Chicago too. Yeah, we cousins. Florida, Toronto. What up to my Canadian brethren? Cincinnati, Tulsa, Atlanta, suburban Detroit, the Bronx, New York, Bakersfield, California, Long Beach, Arizona, Detroit in the building, Charlotte, Maryland, San Antonio, Louisville. Yo, shout out to Houston, Texas, Chicago, Columbus, Bay Area, Sarasota, Arkansas, Detroit, Tampa, Shreveport, Louisiana, North Carolina, Jackson, Mississippi, Benton Harbor. Shout out to Benton Harbor. Detroit. What up, Lance? Tampa, Florida, Southfield, Michigan, Dayton, Ohio. Dallas, Texas, Oklahoma City, Novi, Sacramento, Dallas, Louisville, Florida, Redmond, Arizona, Harlem. What up, Dame? Kuwait, Mumford, Alabama, Tulsa, Atlanta, Virginia, Charlotte, Harris County, Texas. I'm gonna be over in Atlanta shooting a show in a week or so. We'll get there. Atlanta, Cleveland. What up to all of my friends in Nashville, Tennessee? I love Nashville. Zamunda, Boston, Charlotte, Dallas. Hey, you know what, y'all? Before I get started with the show, you know what's so interesting? I was looking at some comments because you know that I keep what am I thinking of? Timestamps. I now make sure that every show that I do, outside of the Monday show, outside of the Wednesday show, on After Hours and on the Millionaire Morning Show, I make sure that I put timestamps in everything. And I largely almost didn't start putting timestamps in it because in my mind, right, I was thinking to myself, well, the people that want to catch a clip or two a day or two after whenever I do the live stream, that's when they want to catch that clip, right? But the people that are looking to actually watch the full show, listen to it as a podcast, get it through their day, truck drivers and all of that, they just want to see the whole thing. But you know me, as a user experience evangelist, I have to make sure that I listen to the people in order to ensure that I add value into your life and I give y'all what y'all want. So a lot of people was like, Anton, what's the worst that could happen? Give us our timestamps. So I gave y'all timestamps. And then I was in the comments reading the other day, you know what I'm saying? Because I like to check in and see what's happening out here in these streets, and chat lives matters and the comments matters, and I like for you guys to interact with the show. And I'm in the comments the other day and somebody says, yeah, I don't like it when you check in with the chat. What? So wait a minute. Y'all want us to, I got the timestamps all on After Hours. You want me to do the show, but you don't want me to interact with the chat. Who does that? I don't like it when you interact with the chat. I'm out. I got to acknowledge the people that support the platform. I got to support the people that support the platform. Chat lives matters. Listen, it's some feedback that I just don't take, and I don't care. It's some feedback that I don't take, and I don't care. Listen, the one thing that I am going to do until the day that I no longer am streaming on these platforms
is I am always going to acknowledge the people that support what it is that we got going on over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. I agree, G-Man. Some people are just miserable. It's some people on this earth that y'all gonna have to understand that some people you're never going to please. It doesn't matter if you add in timestamps. It don't matter if you allow for them to be able to call in. It don't matter if you want to interact with the chat. If you listen, you can revamp the entire show based off of something that somebody says, and they will still come back and hit a dislike for the algorithm. And so sometimes you just got to make a decision. Look, I love differences of opinions. My dog, Eric Daniels, will tell you that. I let people rock out on after hours. I let people rock out on the Millionaire Morning Show very, very, very rarely, unless somebody get disrespectful or they just want so much attention that they just get incredibly egregious as far as being disrespectful to like my family or something. I let people rock out. I be aggravated sometimes at stuff that people be saying on after hours and stuff, but I do not be censoring people. I even be getting on my moderators. The moderators be wanting to get on y'all head, and I be like, hey, no, let them rock out. Let them rock out. We want differences of opinion, even if it makes us uncomfortable, because I think that that's what actually makes for growth. I want somebody to give me their honest to God perspective, not to just agree with me. Now, if you agree with me, don't disagree with me just for the sake of disagreeing with me. But if you don't disagree, or if you really do disagree with me, but you actually have a justified reason, get it off. Get it off. Get your thoughts off. I want to know who feels differently. And then that's what actually makes me or gives me motivation to even do research or become more versed in what it is that we're talking about, because I want to hear you might have a difference of opinion because you was raised differently, or you come from a different environment, or you were taught different, or how you're affected by these policies or legislative branches may affect you differently. Good feedback and healthy conversation is what makes us do what we do over here at the Millionaire Morning Show, baby. What up, Johnny Rivera? So listen, this is a town hall and a place for everybody over here at the Millionaire Morning Show and After Hours and Anton Daniels channel. I love y'all. Shout out to Sister. Shout out to Yakar, Kojak, everybody that's in the building. You know I love y'all in real life, and I am humbled by you guys continuing to do what you do over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. So I'm never going to not acknowledge y'all and give y'all what's going on in my life, because I do appreciate y'all and I love y'all, and I want to know what's going on with you. Let me read some of the super chats, and then we're going to get started with the show, because we got a heck of a show lined up for you today. All right. Latrell says, I got this 2-ball for you in the collection plate. Thank you, Latrell. Thank you, my friend. Shout out to J-Dubs. Adding something to the collection plate. J-Dubs, you must have came into some money. Where you getting all this money from? You got migrants working for you? You got some migrants working for you. You getting some extra money off the top because you ain't paying the taxes. Okay, J-Dubs, I'm paying attention to you. Just make sure you give us the game inside of the Discord. Link to the Patreon is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to J-Dubs running it up over there. Man, I'm always in a good mood. If y'all see me not in a good mood, y'all better hold me accountable, because you're going to have to go ahead and give me that pick-me-up. Candace Owens left the Daily Wire. Oh, yes, she did, and we are about to get right into it right after Quick Hits. Yes, she did, Miss Ferry. Chase Barnes is in the building. Shout out to Chase. Says, happy Friday, AD. Your title covers be looking like an album cover. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. If I had to name them, I would call it using your catchphrase. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there, volume 4. Yes. Hey, it'd be a lot of people still in my format, still in my style, trying to understand what we do over here at the Billionaire Morning. You can't do what we do. This is God-given. Creativity never stops. This is why we continue to reinvent ourselves based off of our own authentic growth. You know what I'm saying? Gray Way in the building says, Chat Lives Matters. I agree with you 100%. Wendell Kilgore's in the building says, good morning, AD. Tuning in to this great Friday. Salute. Shout out to you, big dog. I'm Technically Tim says, time for the greatest morning show on earth. Y'all ready to get started? Let me tell you something. Just because it's Friday don't mean that we slack off. We get to it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know I'm probably going to sing or quote or rap some favorite song. So I don't know what is going to happen on a daily basis, but I do know that I'm feeling good. I do know that I'm feeling good. Taybiz TV, thank you, my friend, for holding me down. I'm going to be acknowledging super chats all throughout the show. You see it, Kyla, people be stealing everything from me, and they be watching, and they don't want to give no acknowledgement. Listen, if I'm inspired by something, I give acknowledgement and compliments. I'm actually happy Candace Owens left the Daily Wire. I am going to talk about that. Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Taybiz TV. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the show. First and foremost, Tiege Hanley, 30% off your whole order plus a free gift. It's a phenomenal. Rap my own song? Nope. I'm done. I'm retired, Jules. 30% off. If y'all not a part of the Tiege pack or y'all got some other Tiege pack from somebody else, I'm disappointed in you. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you, Tiege Hanley. It is a great product. No matter how many grays that you got in your beard, your skin is always going to be clear. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Forever. Says she loved Candace, and I love you. Also, on top of that, if you guys are not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am going to be going over the Reddit IPO. We're going to get to that in quick hits, but I'm not going to give you all my extensive analysis on it until we get over there in the Patreon. I got a new video coming out about all of my content creation strategies, marketing, what type of equipment I use, what kind of software I break down. So for anybody that's a content creator and you want to get that video inside of the Patreon, that's going to be exclusively to you, for you, by me. You know what I'm saying? But in addition to that, we're going to have stock clubs, so that's going to be popping. And we're going to get on it. All right, y'all ready to get started? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily need. We don't need every single thing. I seen that on Patrick Bet David. We're going to get there, Jesse. We don't feel like we need to dedicate an entire segment to it, but we definitely want to keep you guys informed on what's going on throughout the United States of America, including your finances, politics, news, crime, arrests, all of that, all right? So Quick Hits, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing on Quick Hits that we want to get to is a Little Rock airport director is shot. And people are saying that it's a conspiracy theory or it's something that stinks to high hell. Let's get to it, y'all.
Turning now to a Fox 16 News update. We have new information tonight following yesterday's shootout between a Little Rock airport executive and ATF agents. Tonight, for the first time, the brother of the man who was being served that search warrant is speaking out. Our Katrin Asaf spoke on the phone with Matthew Malinowski, the brother of Clinton National Executive Director Brian Malinowski. He says right now they're in the dark and they want to know what happened yesterday morning.
It just doesn't make any sense, the way they did it.
One day after this quiet neighborhood in West Little Rock woke to the sound of gunshots, Brian Malinowski's brother, Matthew, is sitting at an attorney's office, thinking of what to do next.
I think the next thing is go to the house and take as many
What's
pictures
up,
as
LS?
possible of all the damage.
Malinowski was the subject of an ATF search warrant early Tuesday morning. The executive director of Clinton National Airport caught in a shootout that left one agent hospitalized and Brian on life support.
He's mortally wounded. He was shot in the head with a high-caliber weapon.
As evidence is collected and neighbors adjust to the shock, Matthew is holding his own investigation,
Right now, we were trying to gain truth and facts.
trying to figure out why his brother was targeted.
Brian has no incentive to do anything illegal.
And what led agents to break in the way they did.
The ATF should have never raided him like they did. They could have thrown tear gas in there. They could have thrown a shock grenade in there. They could have just said with air horns, hey, get your tail out here. We're the ATF.
While Matthew says Brian collected weapons, guns, and coins at his home on Durance Court. He says he's never been in trouble with the law before. And with no word from law enforcement on what exactly was in that search warrant, Matthew is left planning for an uncertain future, with more questions than answers.
I'm confused. I'm tired. I'm living on adrenaline at the moment.
Katrin Asaf reporting. Matthew also telling Fox 16 they will pursue litigation as much as they can. In fact, he met with attorneys today to see what can be done. He also said Brian's wife was next to him during that shootout. An ATF agent was shot as well, and we're told.
How did an ATF agent get shot? I don't understand that. So basically, a director of the Clinton National Airport over in Little Rock, Arkansas, was raided by agents that was serving a search warrant at 6 a.m. when someone inside the home fired gunshots at the agents. The agents returned fire. striking the shooter. It was identified as him. It was the director. They saying that basically it has something to do with guns or him, the sale of guns and all of that other type of stuff. Shout out to Fatty. I'm going to read that super chat shortly right after Quick Hits. And now the family is just looking for ways for them to basically sue the federal government or the ATF, which is basically your tax dollars. And they saying that they shouldn't have raided him that way. Listen, I don't know what's going on, but it sounds fishy to me. And it's a weird situation. It's a very, very weird situation, all right? In addition to that, that's the wrong one. Hold on, let me get that up. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Truth Social. So Trump's Truth Social payday may be at hand as far as solving for all of his financial issues. Check it out, y'all.
Jim, I'm going to start with one you may not expect, and we watched Reddit go public. Next week, we're going to have a de-SPAC of a company that is starting to once again get a bit of attention, and that is Digital World Acquisition Corp, DWAC.
DWAC?
Yeah.
Oh, God, you're on that. I'm not home.
I have been on it for some time.
Home.
I've been talking about it. Talked about it last week, I think, briefly as well, in part because of the overall conversation around former President Trump's legal bills and his need to post a bond of somewhat $454 million here in New York. And the access that he potentially has to what would be billions of dollars of shares if current prices hold in DWAC. Why do we mention it now? Because tomorrow they're having their vote. And they're going to vote in favor, obviously, of the deal to merge with Trump Media and Technology Group. And that's the math. I'll come back to it in a minute. You can see Digital World has had a very nice run of late, and let's call it 44 or so. You want to do the math, I can take you through it because...
year to date, they up 156%. That's insane. What kind of run up is that? Year to date, they up 156%?
Mr. Trump will, TMTG, essentially, Mr. Trump will have 87.5 million shares right away and another 40 million on a so-called earnout. The earnout looks pretty money good right now. It basically says if in any 20-day period following the de-SPAC, which will happen next week, by the way, that's when we're expecting it, any 20-day period, the stock stays above 1750. There are actually various numbers along the way here, but 1250, 15, 1750. He gets another 40 million shares. So you can do the math. That's 127.5 million shares. Multiply that by 45. You get about 5.7 billion, maybe even more. I haven't done the math in this very moment. Dollars worth of stock. The overall.
So what's basically being reported is that Trump is basically Teflon Don Trump, and they saying that his shares could be worth somewhere north of $5.6 billion, depending on the stock price and depending on the merger itself. And I guess when you know money and you know how to get to money, it just continues to print for you, and it really don't matter what happened or what they try to do to you. He not worried. He continuing to run for president, and he going to run it up regardless. So they saying that this is going to solve all of his potential money problems. And what people don't really understand is that even when you're a billionaire, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have access to $1 billion. It means that your net worth is whatever it is, right? So when you take into consideration all property, shares, everything like that. I understand that, Eric Daniels. I'm not going into all of that. This is just quick hits. But my point is that, and he can borrow against those shares if you really want to go into it, right? He can borrow against those shares as long as it's somebody that's willing to lend to him. But the point is that when your net worth is of a certain amount, it doesn't mean that you have that money in cash. It means that you don't necessarily have that liquid, but your entire portfolio minus your problems or minus whatever it is, your liabilities, it equates to a certain number, and that's what your net worth is. So a lot of people conflate that. They say, oh man, you're not really a billionaire, or he's not really a billionaire. That doesn't mean that. We don't really know exactly what his net worth is, but you can leverage assets and borrow money, which then actually makes it even better from a tax perspective. But that's Patreon level game right there. I'm not going to get into that. And then last but not least, Reddit. Reddit is going public with their share price above their IPO price, which is their initial public offering. Take a look a little bit. I'm going to actually be breaking this down inside of Stock Club probably next week, but we'll get to it.
Right. We begin, however, with Reddit. Exciting day for that company, marking the first social media IPO since all the way back in 2019, 5 years ago. Shares opening at $47 a piece. But beyond social media, there's a lot of discussion around its role in the AI area. Listen to what the CEO had to say about that.
The value of our data is growing. In a world where more and more content on the internet is created by artificial intelligence, the premium on actual intelligence, which is what Reddit is, continues to grow.
Here to discuss is our own Deirdre Bosa, along with Deepwater Asset Management's Doug Clinton. Deirdre and Doug, welcome. Good to have you with us. Deirdre, I'm going to turn it over to you to ask the first questions here.
Okay, well, I guess then, Doug, I will ask you a question. What do you make of this Reddit pop? Of course, it's still early. It has to settle. But, I mean, 50%, that's pretty good. It's not as good as yesterday's IPO, that Astera Labs 70% pop. Do you think that Reddit is more AI adjacent or kind of like an AI company as it's been trying to present itself throughout the roadshow and in the S1?
Deirdre, I think it tells us, number one, that the IPO window right now for tech, especially if you have a little bit of an AI story, is wide open. In terms of Reddit itself, I don't think that their AI story is as clear as Astera Labs' story. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that is still the majority of Reddit's business and the majority, I think, of the future in terms of how the stock reacts will be dependent upon their ability to convince advertisers to spend more on the platform.
Reddit, in my opinion, personally, as a long-term play. Now, if you guys are out here options trading, then that's a form of gambling, in my opinion, and I do not necessarily advocate for that. And I don't talk about that because I'm not an advocate for options trading in general. I'm not an advocate for day trading or options trading. What's up, Quinn? What up, R Streets? I'm an advocate for a long-term investment. As a long-term play and a long-term investment, two things. I think that whoever it is that has shares in Reddit, equity ownership in Reddit, especially the workers that was waiting on it to IPO, I think that they need to go ahead and get rid of it. I think that they need to cash out, take their money, and then put it in something that's actually viable for the future. Secondly, they have to become interdependent on advertising, which we know that there's a limited amount of dollars that can be spread out amongst advertising. They're depending on AI terms in order to try to generate interest in a stock, and it's the latest IPO, and so it's always going to pop. But I think that people need to take their money and they need to run. I don't see it. They become interdependent on Google a little bit. And if they waiting for people to spend advertising dollars on Reddit, Reddit is trash. Reddit has never been a profitable company in all of the years that it's existed. I am not a fan of Reddit, so I don't know. That's just my personal opinion personally. It's only gambling if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, that's what everybody said at gambles. HAY says it's only gambling if you don't know what you're doing. Every single person that lose their shirt say the same thing. I'm going to give you another thing that gamblers say. Listen, you only lose if you quit. Don't quit. Winners never quit. Keep on putting money into it. Keep on dumping money into it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. Woo! Y'all some crazy, crazy, crazy people. Let me read a couple of super chats and then we're going to get started with the show. John Luna says, I can appreciate you being so humble. Says a lot about you. New here. Keep up the good work. Wanted to show a little support. Thank you, John. Thank you. I appreciate you. My dog. Fatty is in the building, says, I still want my Rolls Rolex. We got on the gold today. We don't got on no Rolls. Fatty, I'm disappointed in you. Let me hold Fatty accountable really quickly. I know I'm not supposed to be holding Fatty accountable because he just gave a super chat, but I got to hold Fatty accountable. I've been watching you in the clouds, and I just cannot believe that you're still getting caught up in this nonsense when there's so much money and so much opportunity to really be made by you continuing to expand your platform and then growing based off of your talent instead of getting caught up in the nonsense that's happening out here in these streets, in these YouTube streets. Man, forget all of that nonsense, bro. Run that up. Go get a bag, run it up, and stop playing with all of the people that's in the mud, man. I know that you think that the people that's rocking with you, listen, you can be much bigger than whatever it is that you've been doing up to this point. It's growth. You know what I'm saying? I think that sometimes in general we hit a ceiling because we limit ourselves by continuing to get caught up in all of the mud throwing and the mudslinging instead of focusing on something that's actually going to benefit you long term. Fatty, you too talented to be getting caught up in the mud. Honestly. You too talented to be getting caught up with these people. I expect more from you. I expect greater from you. I expect more and greater from you, bro. It's too much opportunity, and it's a huge window for you right now, and you got to capitalize, and you got to seize it, and you cannot get caught up in this nonsense, bro. Shout out to Fatty. I'm expecting more. I'm waiting on Fatty to turn the corner. He says, just send in support because you say people stealing without giving credit. I ain't talking about you stealing. You one of the people that was always a part of Fight Club. Shout out to Fatty. Let me give him a round of applause. Come on, Fatty. We got to do better, big dog. Mars says Candace's husband is on that board of Truth Social and will be paid out too. Running that bag up. There's way more money to be made our streets than a small amount of money that people be chasing. Way bigger bags. You gotta take a step backwards in order to take 10 steps forward. And sometimes people are not going to want to see you grow, but you got to make sure that you do the thing that's in your best interest, not in the best interest of just the people that surround you. Chris James is running up so much money. Chris James says, "What up, chat fam? Happy Friday." Shout out to Chris. Man, Chris, what you doing, bro? I need you to give me some of that True Social money. Shout out to Chris James. Chris James in the building. Shout out to you. Time Out is in the building, says, "What up, though?" I appreciate you, Time Out. Fatty says, "Got my first 5-figure YouTube check." Yeah. From YouTube in February. Trust me, I'll get there. Salute. Shout out to Fatty. Shout out to everybody that I've seen grow, come up, that I've recognized for the first time, and then they've continued to create their platforms and evolve. Yeah. Shout out to Fatty, and go get that money, big dog. Go get that money. We're about to get into Candace Owens, leaving the Daily Wire. But before I do that, I'm hearing my computer ping from corporate America. Let me go get my computer real quick, y'all. We got to get all bags. No bags left behind is my motto. Let me see. Who is pinging me? Anton, assign a new ticket. Okay. All right. No bags left behind. Had to answer a couple. No bags left behind. No bags left behind. Hey, stop pinging me. I got a show to do. All right. So, y'all ready to get into the show? Y'all ready to run it up? No bags left behind. It's out at the Daily Wire. Now, I had been thinking to myself, and I was like, yo, what is going on with Candace Owens? What is happening with Candace Owens? Because it's like, I remember what happened with her and Ben Shapiro, and I had covered that here at the Millionaire Morning Show. And I plan on getting into it and deep diving into it all over the weekend, so we'll see what's happening. But when she had got into it with Ben Shapiro based off of whatever was going on with these anti-Semitic comments and all of this stuff, and then she started going on tour. And then it almost seemed as though she wanted to expand her audience and expand her reach and make sure that she was running it up so she could prepare herself for what was happening over at the Daily Wire. And I never expected her to stick around in the Daily Wire because basically Ben Shapiro had disappeared off of my radar. It was almost like she had became outcast. You know what I'm saying? But I think that Candace Owens is too talented and too great to be subjected to what's going on over at the Daily Wire. But let's get into it a little bit. I'm going to read a little bit for y'all, and then we're going to deep dive into somebody's analysis of what's going on over at the Daily Wire. So basically, they base on every single media site, whether you're talking about The Hill, you're talking about NBC, CBS, all across the board. They're basically saying that it's Ben Shapiro's emotions and feelings that got her removed from over at the Daily Wire. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. It goes on to say that Shapiro's conservative media empire has cut ties with Candace Owens amid a lengthy public feud between a far-right pundit and her bosses over the Israel-Hamas war. Listen, of all of the things that they've been through and all of the bags that they ran up over there, as far as, you know, conservative pundits and everything like that, I think that they're making a big mistake. The biggest mistake ever. And it's funny to look at how this played out because now we got hindsight to be able to look at it and pay attention to it. If you're paying attention to what's happening with Candace Owens, right, you see that she is the star. She's a 34-year-old black woman conservative that is intelligent and married to a man that's from another race. It can't get any better of a setup than that. She has access to a conservative audience that absolutely loves her talking points. Black people, largely from a cultural perspective, are starting to experience a shift over into being more conservative, especially people that are in her age range because she's still young. She's still 34 years old. She has an entire runway ahead of her. And if there's anybody that you sign outside of Shannon Sharpe right now, it's Candace Owens. If there's anybody that you sign that has a runway ahead of them all the way up, I mean, look, there's people that even say Candace Owens could possibly run for president one day. If there is ever a bigger fumbler, and don't get me wrong, I'm not ever going to disregard the business acumen of Ben Shapiro because they've been able to build the Daily Wire, obviously. But if there's ever been a bigger fumble or a bigger potential fumble than what Fox did with Shannon Sharpe, it got to be what the Daily Wire is doing over there with Candace Owens, considering that she is the star. It's not Ben Shapiro. I know that everybody like nerds and people like when nerds go back and forth and debate on Turning Point USA and stuff like that, but he is not the star. He is a co-star, but she is definitely, look, it don't matter if you like her or dislike her. I'm talking about money. Shout out to Jay Hunter Lee. I'm talking about money. When it comes back down to it, Candace Owens is the star. And listen, we don't care about whether or not she run for president or not. I'm talking about the ability to be able to generate revenue and visibility. Revenue and visibility is what's happening. It says the media conservative empire has cut ties with Candace Owens amid a lengthy feud over Israel and Hamas. The Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. Shapiro's co-founder, Jeremy Boring, tweeted on Friday morning, the rumors are true. I am finally free. Candace posted on her own X account, representatives of the Daily Wire, and Owens did not immediately respond to requests for additional comment. I think that at that point, they was just waiting out the contract for whatever it is that they signed. She served out her contract. She was professional the entire time. She didn't get emotional about it. That just tells you that censorship is real even on the conservative side. Owens joined Shapiro's outlet in 2021, hosting daily podcasts, prominently featured her band. Shapiro often had come to the defense of Owens' rhetoric, but following October 7th, Hamas-led attack on Israel, the pair began a very public battle that at one point featured the Daily Wire co-founder daring his star podcaster to quit. Ben Shapiro is emotional. He's emotional. The feud began last November when Owens tweeted that no government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide. While she did not specifically mention the state of Israel, her remarks were widely condemned by her fellow conservative media figures soon after Shapiro publicly called Owens' behavior disgraceful and chided her faux sophistication on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Days later, their feud became even more personal. Owens posted to X a series of Bible verses suggesting you cannot serve both God and money. That pointed remark was viewed by many as a not so subtle use of the anti-Semitic dual loyalty trope against Shapiro, who responded, Candace, if you feel that taking money from the Daily Wire somehow comes between you and God, by all means, quit. Emotional. Listen, you don't go back and forth. Complaints go up. Complaints go up, not down. If you the boss, if you ever see me going back and forth with somebody that is under me, that I am paying, that's a problem. If you ever see me sitting here putting me and my chick get into it or my wife get into it, and then I'm sitting here holding her accountable on a live stream, that's beta male behavior. That's beta male behavior. All right? On that same week, Owens appeared for a friendly interview on Tucker Carlson's web show where she lamented Shapiro's ad hominem attacks, which they were, and said she would not respond to him on a level of intellect because there's nothing that he has expressed that he fundamentally disagrees with in terms of what I said. So she said that, listen, Tucker Carlson Ben Shapiro don't even disagree with me. So I'm not going to even stoop down to that level of throwing ad hominem attacks like he did. So you knew it was over back then. It was over. Carlson agreed, taking issue with how Shapiro has skipped past saying, I don't think she's correct, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about, and went to straight labeling her absolutely disgraceful. But the Daily Wire and fighting appeared to reach its final stage this week when Owens liked the social media post asking conservative rabbi whether he is drunk on Christian blood again, an overt reference to anti-Semitic blood libel canard that has regained popularity on the far right via QAnon. Days earlier, Owens dabbled in other anti-Semitic tropes by suggesting there's a Jewish gang in Hollywood. Ooh, when you start going against the grain, they don't like it. And so when she started talking about it anymore, they was like, we just going to go ahead and cut ties with you. The pair had previously come into public conflict in October 2022 when Owens defended Kanye West's tweet that I'm going on DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. Owens said that the MAGA rapper's shocking post, if you're an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. So because she didn't condemn what Ye was doing, and she was just like, people are free to do what they want to do, and I don't necessarily label him as a hateful person, they took issue with that. At the time, Shapiro appeared hesitant to criticize Owens, one of his media empire's most influential personalities. On a personal level, he said, I get Candace defending her friend. He said at the time, offering only a tepid rebuttal, I don't think her defense is convincing. It appears Shapiro wasn't so gentle this time around. On one hand, you can't tell somebody what to do with their company, right? So as long as they came to an amicable agreement as far as what the contract terms were, and he let her go or whatever, or she decided to quit, then that's their business. On the other hand, you can say that he was getting emotional. I don't really care what you do, because if you the star, then I got to make sure that I protect the bags. Listen, all money in, as Nipsey Hussle says, no money out. All money in, no money out. And the same thing is being said across multiple different platforms. Candace Owens departed Ben Shapiro's website after anti-Semitic commentary. Goes on to say on the Hill, Candace Owens is out at the Daily Wire or NBC News. Conservative pundit Candace Owens is out at right-wing media outlet Daily Wire, the CEO says. That's another article that I was going on over about that Little Rock director that got in that firefight. But here's somebody else's perspective, and I know that Patrick bet David. Look at sister. Jesus Christ, sis. I'm going to get to that 1 second. I'm going to read that 1 second. Shout out to sister. Here's another breakdown of it from somebody that basically highlights the Candace Owens leaving the Daily Wire.
This one is a media story, not necessarily as serious, but certainly does tell
Let
us
me
a little
move
bit
this
about the world
computer real
that
quick.
we live in, about the discourse around cancel culture and all of that. So let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. News breaks this morning from the Daily Wire CEO, Jeremy Boring. He tweets, quote, Daily Wire and Candace Owens have ended their relationship. So this comes after a lot of internal consternation between Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro that has exploded in the open after October the 7th. Candace has been quite vocal in an anti-war stance both on Ukraine and has carried over a lot of that consistency to the war between Israel and Gaza. She's been particularly outspoken about civilian casualties in Gaza and has also been against sending U.S. weapons to Israel. Now, obviously, this all broke out into the open. You'll recall a few months ago when Ben Shapiro was asked on camera and called her comments about Israel, quote, disgraceful. This led to a public spat between the two in which Ben replied to her and said, Candace, you are welcome to quit at any time. There was some speculation that that might have been to involve having to pay her out of her contract. The circumstances, obviously, of her departure are not 100% clear. What we do know, though, is that it came almost immediately after a major fracas, I guess you could say, with the ADL. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Just yesterday, the ADL, the so-called Anti-Defamation League, and one of the most censorious organizations and pro-Israel groups in the U.S., they put out an article stating, quote, white supremacist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes is praising Candace Owens', quote, vitriolic anti-Semitism. It is hardly surprising, but it does set off alarm bells. When bigoted people come together to push an anti-Semitic agenda, it adds fuel to the fire. So Candace replied to this. She says, quote, I do not know Nick Fuentes. You already know that. What I do know is that everyone can see what you guys are doing to me. Your pattern is well established and the world is waking up against it. My crime is having stood up for myself against your network of smears. Now,
Woo! Talk to him, Candy, just like Candace. I was looking at a Patrick Bet David clip or live stream where he basically, just a little bit ago, probably less than 24 hours ago, had already predicted that Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro will be breaking up. I don't know if he has some kind of insider information. I think that Candace Owens is going to get a host of different pitches. Listen, she is going to be the hottest free agent on the market, and I believe that she's going to get a whole lot of offers. I think that Patrick Bet David is probably going to offer a bag. I also believe that Fox News probably is going to offer a bag. If I was in a position to offer her a bag, I would offer her a bag. And I think that the Daily Wire is absolutely off, because the one thing that's talented about Candace is that not only does she stand on her own and she's been able to create a brand for herself that's independent of the Daily Wire, because when you think of Candace Owens, you don't think of the Daily Wire. You think of Candace Owens on the Daily Wire, regardless of whether you like her or you don't like her. I think that Elon Musk is going to offer her a bag because Elon Musk can offer the biggest bags, or she just might completely go independent. And so she may not do anything like that. She may partner with somebody and do something. But at this point, she can do anything that she want to do. She could do anything that she want to do. There is nothing that is stopping her. I think that she is, like I said, I think she's the hottest thing on TV right now. She has the perfect brand, the perfect identity. She taps into all audiences. She upsets people. She generates an emotion from people whenever she talks. She's incredibly intelligent. She's young. She's black. She's a woman. She got every single thing working for her, even if she's against the things that's working for her. And I don't think that she needs anybody. I think that she's going to be incredibly successful regardless. Who really checking for the Daily Wire after Candace Owens leave? I think that they lost a huge demographic of people that they otherwise would have never been able to be tapping into in the first place. So Candace Owens is dope. I don't know. The one thing that I'm wondering, though, is how tied in is she and how well does she structure her contract to be able to keep her platform if in case she decided to leave the Daily Wire. And how would that work? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to own your stuff. You got to keep your own stuff. I wonder how that works, especially with YouTube and stuff like that. So, I don't know. That's the thoughts. That's my thoughts on it. I'm going to keep you guys informed. I'm sure we'll have way more to talk about on Monday. But this news just broke this morning, and so I'm really just scratching the surface of what happened. I'm sure that she'll talk about it. and we'll review it, and we'll definitely go into that. Do y'all think that Tucker Carlson is really getting the bag and winning at this point? I'll keep it. I'm going to keep informed, and I'm going to stay on top of it. Candace Owens has been on almost every single person's radar. She's been making her rounds. And another thing, it's almost like she's seen this coming, and so she's been tapping into and working and tapping into a completely different audience. She was on the Breakfast Club, Joe Budden show. She on all of the black platforms, the white platforms. I've seen her on Destiny's platform debating him. She a workhorse, bro. She a workhorse. So shout out to Candace Owens for breaking free and doing what you do. Run that bag up, baby girl. Let me read these super chats. Oh, man. Shout out to Tommy on Cash App. He says, salute. Tommy, I appreciate you, big dog. I also want to give an acknowledgement to my dog, Brian Hunter, on Cash App. Thank you, my friend. Let me get through these, and then before we get into that, or after we get into that, we're going to get into the migrant crisis and them storming El Paso. David Williams says, does it change your opinion of Reddit that they partner with Google? I'm familiar with the partnership with Google. To give Google access to their data for development of AI? It doesn't. It doesn't. Because Reddit still is interdependent on advertisers in order for them to be profitable. I don't see their business model being profitable no matter how much they attach themselves to Google or AI. I believe they get like $60 million a year or $60 million. I don't remember what the number is, but they get $60 million from Google, if I'm not mistaken, based off of my research, to be able to share their data. I mean, who uses Reddit? I don't know. I'm not a fan of Reddit. I wouldn't bet on them long term. I don't see that as a company that you would want to invest in from the bag chaser, so I'm not personally recommending it. Jay Hunter Lee says, good to see you, AD. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up taking her talents over to X. You know, sometimes it's not necessary for you to take your talents anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Executive Suite Emily says, it was her interview with the leader of a certain group. She debunked all the lies they said about her to his face with video exposing something. And when people get upset, you know how that go. A.K. Harrison is in the building, says, Candace Owens outgrew the Daily Wire. Look for her to be big on a bigger platform by the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be by the end of the year. I think it's going to be by the summer. Kung Fu Hustler says, Ben Shapiro acts like he doesn't remember the Balfour Declaration of 1917. Modern Israel was created by a League of Nations, now the United Nations. I'm going to read yours last, sister. Shout out to the doc. Doctor. Nikita Cloud, stopping to show love to my bag chasers. Work has been insane, positive. And listen, when work is insane, that means that you get into a bag. Shout out to the doctor. Morden Mello is in the building. Shout out to Morden Mello. Mr. Carr says, I got this 2-ball for you, big dog. Thank you, my friend. Kung Fu Hustler is in the building. Says, Candace is bigger than Oprah to me. Spaces says, this is like Bulls letting go of Jordan. Facts. But they still got Pippen. Zach said they lost all of the black Republicans. Maybe they'll go and get another one. Tony Williams, shout out to my Chicago brethren, says this comes from her comments about the situation on her Breakfast Club interview. While I feel she said nothing wrong, she should have expected this. I'm sure she was already planning for it. I think that she was planning for it. Let me get a triple running this up real quick. Mr. AD, would you consider a co-host with Candace on one of your channels similar to the lead attorney? Maybe Room 9? You know what? Honestly, I mean, that would be beautiful, but I just don't think that I'm there yet. First of all, let me give an acknowledgement because y'all always supporting the platform. Y'all always hold me down, and it's still hard, honestly. Is very, 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 very difficult. Very difficult for me to still accept these type of blessings. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult for me to accept this type of love. But y'all got on me because I had ended the show early one time and I was in my feelings and in my emotions. But I love you. I genuinely love you and I appreciate you. And so I'm not ever going to disregard or try to limit the blessings. I just do. I just love y'all. Y'all the ones that make me. Y'all make this platform. Shout out to Sister. Let me give her another round of applause. Let me speak to your point. Absolutely, I would absolutely consider a co-host with Candace if I was able to ever do that. If I'm being honest with myself, and I got to be absolutely transparent and I got to be honest. If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think that I'm there yet. I think that I'm smart. I think that I'm intelligent. I think that I have the best show, the best morning show on YouTube by far. But I think that I still have so far to go before I'm at that level. Her level of visibility and the way that she's been able to build her platforms is way above what it is that I have going on. You see what I'm saying? And so it's almost like if I ever got the invite, you ain't even got to ask. I'd do it for free. If I ever got the invite, I would absolutely positively do it for free. However, I still think that there's just platforms that have more visibility that I don't think is as good as what we do here. And so I think that it's just time to show and prove. I don't ever want to be the person that begs for visibility. I want to be the person that you can't deny my visibility because I'm just that much in your face. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm never the type of person to always looking for clout or always trying to. No, I just always felt like I can get it on my own. And that as I continue to grow, and I'm going to do it the slow way, that it's no way that you can't acknowledge me. It's no way that you're going to ignore me. And so we going to work it and we going to do it the long way. Of course I'm going to invite her to the show. We going to work it and we going to do it the long way. We going to do it the hard way. And we going to take the long road to be successful. And I'm willing to continue to grind and get it out the mud like I always have. And I'm always going to be humble, and I'm always going to acknowledge the people that hold me down and support the platform like my girl sister. And that's how we do it. It's all, you 100% right, Joshua. It's all organic. I don't want no fair weather fans. I don't want no people that's just rocking with me just based off of something in specific or because I rock with a certain person. I got to make sure that I build this one person at a time, win over one heart at a time, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. I don't feel like I need no platform. I don't need a Daily Wire. I don't need an NBC. I don't need nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I prefer to do it the hard way. I prefer to really get it on my own, get it out the mud. Because nobody could ever say that they made me. Nobody could ever say that they own me. Nobody could say that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be successful. No, I make other people, not the other way around. I create platforms. I create opportunities for other people to be successful. And that's no knock on anybody, right? Because I believe that partnerships is beautiful and they dope. But I'm just willing to get it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? When I bring people here, I spend my own money. I spend my own money. I got it all 100% independent. I put my own people up. I spend my own money. I buy my own cars. I ain't never took a handout from nobody. And so when you recognize me or when you see me or when we start to get this money or we really running it up, we got it 100% out the mud. 100% out the mud. No help, no love, except for the people that support me like you, sister. So I want to give you another round of applause. And listen, it's us. It's us. It's us against the world. It's us. It's me forever, Christian, our streets, LS, Big Suggs, True to Myself, Kojak, Yakar, Azriel, Jules, Spaces, Black is Back, Sister, Dialect, Jamal Fowler. It's us. It's us against the world. Big Suggs. It's us. Marcus Colston, Rod Brown, Prince Elian, Chris James, Jaquel, Messi, DJ Ace Productions. It's all us. King Stennis, Cartez Cookies, Ash, Fa Brown, Bree Power, Roxy, Pat Fobbs, Victor Williams, ABJ's Wide, Strong, and Safe, Crown, Lance, Trini Life, Miss Jennifer, Charles Pride, Bripto Briss, Emperor. Listen, it's us. It's us against the world. We don't need nobody but ourselves. We're going to get this the way that we going to get it. Black Beauty, what up, though? Ari Reed, Kyla, and I love my people. I'll put my people up against anybody. You know, McColl's Wellness and Fitness, everybody. Jay Ben, my dog. Let me tell you something. I had a conversation, and I was on a live stream a couple years ago, and it was me, lead attorney, and Pocket Watching with JT, and we was on the lead attorney's platform. And the lead attorney asked me a question, right? And he said, Anton, you telling me you wouldn't prefer to have 1 million subscribers over the subscribers that you got now? And everybody laughed at me. I looked at every comment in the chat. I looked at the comments. They clipped it up. It was a beautiful time because I knew I was right. They asked me, they said, would you rather have 1 million subscribers or would you rather have, at the time, I think I had like 100,000, a little over 100,000 subscribers on my particular platform on the Millionaire Morning Show. And I said, no, I'd rather have my 100,000. I said it with my chest and I stood on it. And everybody laughed at me. I said, listen, my 100,000 is stronger than other people's million. My 100,000 at that time was stronger than everybody else's little millions. Wasn't nobody messing with me, and they ain't messing with me now. My people got my back. Brittany B, Sabrina, Victor Williams, all my people. I said it with my chest. I don't know if anybody remembered that, but I said it. I meant it, and I said it. They said, oh, you capping. Y'all remember? You remember that? Trini, you remember that, Fi Brown? I said, I'll take my loyal 100,000. We back yet? All right. I just had to go ahead. I got 4 different alternatives. I got 4 different alternatives of how I could connect. So, yeah, we good. All right, let's continue to run it up. I got 4 different alternatives of what I could connect to if I'm ever having a problem, but we here. So I just want to say that I stand on what I said, and I'm rocking out with what I rock out on. Hopefully you guys didn't send anything that I missed as far as the super chats. I want to acknowledge McCole says, Satan, we rebuke, stop trying to stop the messenger. Oh, we here. We're going to continue to do what we do. We ain't worried about it. Shout out to Victor Williams says, Vag Chaser for life. Shout out to Victor. I appreciate you. I'm prepared. We're going to continue to run it up. And again, I do want to acknowledge Sister for, again, dropping that fireball. All right, so we got to get to the migrants, y'all. Thank you, sis. Thank you to everybody that support the platform. And we're going to continue to run it up. So we had to completely disconnect from what's going on as far as outside or whatever. And I got 3 alternatives to the original alternative. So the second one didn't work. So we went to the third one. And the third one seems to be working well. So I spend the extra money to make sure that I ain't going to fumble at all. And we continue with the show. Thank you guys for continuing to hold me down and rock out with me, because it's time to run it up. All right, let's get to it. So, migrants are storming the border in El Paso. Migrants are storming the border in El Paso. Y'all got to see this with y'all own eyes. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I didn't actually see the video. And this is not AI, this is real.
This morning, tensions escalating on the Texas border. Dramatic new video shows a struggle between Border Patrol and migrants in El Paso. The video shows dozens of migrants pulling aside a razor wire fence, then pushing their way past a handful of Border Patrol agents. The migrants were eventually stopped a short time later by a steel fence, where border agents and Texas DPS contained the situation and processed the 400 to 600 migrants. Governor Greg Abbott posting on social media that after the incident, law enforcement quickly regained control and are redoubling the razor wire barriers, while urging Texas DPS to arrest those involved for criminal trespass and destruction of property. Earlier this week, video captured in Ciudad Juarez, Mexico, shows migrants placing blankets over a similar barbed wire fence to protect themselves as they pass through. This all comes as the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments this week about the controversial Texas bill SB4. The bill would allow local authorities in Texas to arrest migrants suspected of crossing illegally and empower state judges to order deportations back to Mexico. The Supreme Court allowed the bill to go into effect for hours on Tuesday, only for the law to be paused again upon appeal. The circuit court judges appearing skeptical.
This is the first time, it seems to me, that a state has claimed that they have the right to remove illegal aliens.
States outside of Texas are also feeling pressure to get involved at the border. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says he won't send National Guard troops to the border, despite calls from his Republican-led legislature.
The last thing in the world I'm going to do is put the brave women and men of the Pennsylvania National Guard's lives at risk to be part of some political squabble at the border.
And officials tell NBC News that the type of incident that occurred in El Paso is rare at the border. CBP emphasizing that individuals who are here without a legal basis to remain in the U.S. are subject to deportation and would not be allowed to reapply for admission for at least 5 years. And as for that new law, it remains on hold. No word yet on when we might expect a ruling. Craig?
Priscilla Thompson for us there in Texas. Priscilla, thank you.
Hey, so what part of this video, just curious, what part of this actually makes sense to y'all? When y'all see what's happening at the border and, you know, you're trying to make sense of it and you're trying to understand how this makes sense for the United States of America, and we got an incompetent leader and the president of the United States. Listen, I've always believed, I've always personally stood for and believed that regardless of who wound up getting in office, that's our president. The Glitch White 5 super chats. Hey, Yakar, if you can send me that, text me them super chats so that I can acknowledge the people. Molly, I got you on Cash App. I'm going to be looking at that shortly. I've always believed personally, as you watch this right here, as you look at all of these people that's sitting here at the border, I've always stood on the idea that even if we lost the election, meaning that, look at this. Look. And look at the women arguing with the soldiers. They don't even fear your guns. I got you, your car. They don't even fear y'all guns at all. They have no regard for you. They're not scared of you. They're not tripping off of you. They feeling comfortable, 100% comfortable, running up on you, ripping off the razor wire. Here, let me show y'all the video again. One more time. Hold on. Let me back up for a minute. Look at that. They don't care. They're not scared of you. They don't care if you got guns. They don't care about none of that. This is literally an assault on our borders. Your leadership is so incompetent that they genuinely don't care. They are sitting here arguing about whether or not we should defend our borders, and your troops are being overran by migrants that have no regard for you whatsoever. They're not even trying to get in through the TikTok way. They're not even trying to get in through the TikTok way. They said we're going to run right up on you. And we going and guess what the worst part about this is? They actually process them. They process them. They beat y'all up at the border and then they process y'all. It's wild. Absolutely, positively wild. I just can't imagine that I would live in this day and time again. And I'm going to go back to my original statement that, you know, I've always believed in American democracy when I was coming up to the point to where I was like, you know what? Regardless of what happens or who wins, that's still my president. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we lose, because it's going to be half of the people that's against one sort of people. It's going to be half of the people that's against whoever it is, that other candidate. And so whoever wins, half of the country is not going to like them. Right? But we've always had some kind of solidarity amongst each other. Like, yo, you can't talk about them. We can talk about them internally and we can, debate and go back and forth, but that's still my president. It's hard to say that this is my president. It's hard to say that this is my president. For the people that voted for Biden, when y'all see this type of stuff happening, do y'all be thinking to yourself like, man, I messed up? I know I do about some of the people that I voted for. Back when I voted for Obama, I was like, man, I don't care how old I was. I don't care how much Puffy and them was out there water waving on 106 and Park talking about rock the vote. I was like, man, I should have never did that. That was the wrong decision to vote Obama in office. A lot of people are saying that Obama is the one that's actually pulling the strings right now. I don't know how true that is. He's starting to show up a lot of times in his skinny suit. You see him walking around. He meeting with the UK prime minister and stuff like that. A lot of people say that Obama is the one that's actually still running what's going on in the White House right now. I can't substantiate that. But that is what is happening. There's been a whole lot of Obama sightings all the way around. I got you. I know your car. I got you, big dog. Listen what Fox News is saying.
By the New York Post, more than 100 migrants burst through razor wire and knocked down guards as they try to cross over the border into El Paso, Texas. Our next guest says illegal immigrants have been taught that our laws mean nothing. National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd joins us now. So, Brandon, your men and women aren't allowed to do their job on a day-to-day basis. So in comes the Texas DPS and National Guard. And now they're knocking them over. Why?
Because they know that they can get away with it. They know darn good and well that they can violate our laws and nothing's going to happen to them. I have conducted numerous interviews with people that have crossed our borders illegally when I've detained them, and they have flat out told me that they know that nothing is going to happen to me. They've told me that they know that they're going to get released, that they know that the laws don't apply to them. This can be attested to by hundreds of Border Patrol agents that will tell you the exact same story, that these individuals do not fear our laws, and that's why you see scenes like this. Now, what's amazing about it is this happens regularly. This is just the first time that it's been caught on camera. All we have to do is go back to the Haitian migrant crisis, where we saw this over and over again. They know that they are not going to be held accountable for when they violate our laws, and that's why you see this scene.
You know, Brenda, I'm afraid that something tragic is going to happen very soon. I mean, you can't have a group of people legally entering the country that attack our cops and attack the National Guard.
This is crazy, bro.
Something is going to happen there. That's the only way this ends.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Lawrence. You know, those National Guardsmen right there, when they were attacked, they could have potentially used lethal force. You know, and I'm grateful that they did, because you know darn good well.
Look at this craziness. Yo, anybody that's in their right mind, I don't care what side of the fence that you on. Anybody that is in their right mind, no matter what side of the political spectrum that you on, it doesn't matter if you, you know what I'm saying? You just completely left or you completely right, liberal, conservative, independent, Green Party, Tea Party. I don't care what kind of party you are. Stripper party, I don't care. There is nobody that can look at this footage and say that this makes sense for the United States of America. Nobody. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not one person can look at this objectively and say, you know what? I'm okay with what just happened right there. It doesn't matter that the federal government is telling their troops to stand down from defending our border. It don't matter. And Biden and Kamala Harris is chilling. They out here campaigning. They on a campaign trail. On the campaign trail. This is crazy. How does this on American soil? I know China and Russia is over there like, look at them suckers over there. Boy, Russia gonna have Siberian tigers at the border tackling people if you walk over there doing what you don't want to do. They don't even let their political foes go back and forth with them. Kim Jong-un playing no games. What the heck is happening, bro?
That the Biden administration would have went after them instead of those individuals that violated the law. So we've got to look at this, and we have to say that the rule of law not only protects law enforcement officers, but it protects these people as well. It protects United States citizens. But as long as we don't have the rule of law, we're going to continue to see this chaos. And President Biden, through his actions, have taught these people that this is okay.
Are you worried?
So let me, this is just horrible. It's horrible across the board. It's horrible across the board. It doesn't make sense. And if they have, I can't imagine this guy holding on to the White House. Let me read some of these super chats that I thought I missed. Shout out to all of your moderators. Shout out to your car from holding me down. He says, Zach with the 2 ball says, they just lost all of the black Republicans. Spaces with the 199 ball said, this is like the Bulls letting Jordan go with Candace Owens. Tone, I read that one. Jamal Fowler said, peace to you, brother. King Stennis says, I share your content every chance that I get. Shout out to King Stennis. Bripto Briz says, look for Patrick Beck David to offer Candace a valuetainment deal. True. McColl's Wellness Emotion says, Satan, we rebuke. Stop trying to stop the messenger. Kung Fu Hustler said, these soldiers need to stop blindly following orders and remember they're the ones with the weapons defend our own nation and bloody soil. Dialect 1 says, Anton, you bigger than you know. If a white girl at work in South Dakota is asking me if I watch the Anton Daniels channel, then you're bigger than you realize. Shout out to my white girl. If you want to ride and ride the white horse. Jacquel says, don't sell yourself short, AD. You have allowed us to reach out to you. Stay humble and true and iron sharpen iron. She is culturally sound and chill. Oh, trust me. I know who I am. I know who I am. I know that I'm the man. I'm just trying to have a little bit of humility within me. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, we going to win anyway. Shout out to Kung Fu Hustler says, these soldiers need to stop. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Jay Ben in the building says, it's looking like World War Z out there. Insanity. Jones, FX426 says it's called Anarchy Tyranny AD. Jeremy H says Dems trying to cut Trump's campaign fund via the court. Crazy. Crazy, man. Listen, man, let's continue on with the show. Speaking of migrants, I heard that there was some squatters over there in New York that was stuffing women in bags and then trying to squat on their property and take it over. This country is just going to absolute hell. Check it out, y'all. Thank you,
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. And I do want to get to a developing story out of the New York City area where police are searching for a pair of squatters.
Read those super chats shortly.
Maybe
Thank you,
tied
baby.
to the murder of a woman. Her body found stuffed inside a duffel bag inside her apartment. Very disturbing details here. Briella Tomasetti with our Fox 5 New York team joining us live with what we know so far. Good morning, Briella.
Yeah, Josh, this case is more than a week old, but police are finally starting to sort out some of these details. Having just flown in from abroad, the 52-year-old victim, Nadia Vittel, stopped by her late mother's apartment here in Kips Bay. It's right here in my rear view. And she was getting it ready for a family friend to move in. Cops say, though, when she unexpectedly found those squatters inside, that's when things took a turn for the worse. The NYPD has new insight on who may be connected to the murder of a woman whose body was found stuffed inside a duffel bag in her Manhattan apartment. Investigators are looking for a pair of squatters, a man and a woman, who they believe were staying in the apartment prior to the gruesome discovery. Police say 52-year-old Nadia Vittel was last seen walking into her apartment building on East 31st Street in Kips Bay last Tuesday.
Hey, imagine being in Manhattan in New York, and you walk into your apartment, next thing you know, your people got to find you stuff in a duffel bag. How did they get you in a duffel bag? If y'all don't think that this migrant crisis is really affecting or is going to spill over into every single thing that we have, look, y'all thought it was just displacement of votes. It's not. It's not. We're creating an entirely new culture here in the United States. Hear me out. Hear me out. It's going to be an entirely new culture over here in the United States of America. I'm talking about displacement of votes. I'm talking about displacement of jobs, gangs, mindset, new towns, city, control, politicians, legislation, everything. Everything is going to be upended of what's happening here in the United States of America because we're doing it illegally. They have no fear. Do you know how you deal with somebody that don't have no fear? You can't. You can't deal with somebody that don't have fear. That's why God speak about fear being the beginning of righteousness. If you don't have anything that's stopping you from going all the way to the left, and I'm not saying left when I'm saying like liberals or anything like that, but if you don't have any fear when it comes to you going all the way towards whatever it is, like if you just you stuff somebody inside of a duffel bag, it's it. You can't negotiate with that. What you gonna do? Convince them? Hey man, don't stuff me inside of a duffel bag in my own apartment and then come here and live here and have a good time. You can't fight somebody that got a terrorist mentality. You don't even know who's coming over here. You have zero understanding of what you about to deal with, but you dealing with it and it's happening to you in real time.
It came as a complete shock and surprise, I didn't even know.
Gene Pompey is the building superintendent.
Shout out
he
to
says
Rick Rowe.
Surveillance video shows Vittel getting in the elevator and going up to her apartment on the 19th floor. A friend called to make a wellness check, but there was no answer.
So I went up, knocked on the door. It was just only the dog barking.
Shortly afterwards, the victim's son and two in-laws arrived to Vittel's apartment. When police got there, Vittel's lifeless body was found in the closet, stashed inside a duffel bag. Investigators claim she was beaten to death.
When I came into work, there was an ambulance here and one cop car.
Police allege the squatters had been staying in Vittel's apartment for days, and when she returned, the pair killed her and took off in her SUV. Security cameras captured the suspects coming in on Sunday and leaving Tuesday afternoon, the same day Vittel was last seen. It's believed that they drove her car across the George Washington Bridge into New Jersey and then into Pennsylvania, where they crashed the vehicle.
Whose desk does this land on? Because somebody has to take responsibility for this. She gets to her apartment, go up to the 19th floor, discover that some illegal migrants are squatting in her apartment. They beat her to death, stuff her in a closet inside of a duffel bag, steal her car, drive it to a different state, and then disappear. Whoosh. Crash the car and vanish. You can't make this up. This is real life. Can you imagine going over there to discover your mother when you do a wellness check is stuffed inside of a duffel bag, and this is days later after the migrants had already escaped and crashed your vehicle in a whole other state? They ain't released no video, no nothing. So then you go back to Chicago, New York, Denver, LA, Atlanta, all of these people who welcomed them in, and they remember when Eric Adams was welcoming migrants in and he was saying, listen, we are a sanctuary city, and they was getting off the bus and he was tooting his horn and he was playing the music, Hercules, 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 Hercules. Remember when he was doing that? Does he then get held responsible for this? Or is it just another number? Another social security number that could just be reissued at some point later over into a migrant. What if another migrant wind up getting that social security number at some time in the future? Jesus Christ. Who gets held responsible for letting people in? Is it Biden? Is it Eric Adams? Is it Kamala Harris? Who gets paid for keeping their mouth shut?
It's scary when something like this happens. You always expect it to happen somewhere else and not in your own neighborhood.
Republican State Assemblyman Jake Blumenkrantz has filed a bill that would make it easier for homeowners to remove squatters from their properties. Under New York state law, people who claim their tenants can't be arrested for trespassing. That also means homeowners can't change the locks, get rid of their stuff, or shut off the electricity.
This is insane.
The bill would allow police to intervene and make arrests instead of forcing homeowners into an arduous court process. Yeah, and speaking of tenants' rights, a lot of states do give tenants the upper hand. Now, this bill states that tenants do not include squatters and give people rights after 45 days rather than the current 30 days, considering most short-term rentals here in New York City require the tenant, to stay for at least a month.
So now you got 45 days instead of 30 days. Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord, have mercy. This is insane.
To a developing story in Kips Bay in Manhattan and another grisly murder. Police say 2 alleged squatters killed a mother and hid her body in a duffel bag in an apartment.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman reports those suspects are now on the run and may be in Pennsylvania.
It was like this.
This is the apartment closet where 52-year-old Nadia Vitel's body was found last week, stuffed in a duffel bag while her dog barked in the living room.
I've always believed that no one had moved in.
Jean Pompey is the superintendent here at 206 East 31st Street. He went looking for Vitel's with her son, who at the time feared her missing.
They had called me and told me they haven't heard from her.
Police sources tell us investigators have identified 2 people who may have been squatting in that apartment and who they believe beat Vitel's to death before stealing her car from the street and fleeing to Pennsylvania, where they later got into a car accident. CBS 2 spoke to Vitel's back in 2021 as she helped her son Michael get his business off the ground from her Long Island garage.
I kind of gave in into this. The original thought was no way.
Monday, Michael eulogized his mother at her funeral.
That's crazy. That's crazy that they was even able to pull up the old footage of this woman. So this woman who was a mother, paid her taxes, helping her son get the business off the ground. And then the same son that was on the news previously is now speaking at her funeral.
As much as I rarely admitted it, because it hurt me in my stomach, I knew she was always right.
Yo, I would go straight up Robert McCall. I try to, because I always tell guys a lot of times, hey, don't react based off of emotions. I try to imagine and put myself in the shoes of what I would do if something like this happened to me. And I would just go straight up Robert McCall. A lot of people, the Equalizer, I would just go dark. I try to not imagine just completely crashing out because there would be nothing else for me to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? If you go law-abiding citizen, have you ever seen that movie Law Abiding Citizen? It's one of my favorite movies. I don't like how the movie ended. I think that it could have been an A+ movie if it would have ended right. But Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx in it, that's one of the first movies that I seen people actually rooting for the guy that was supposed to be portrayed as the criminal. I just can't imagine, man. I cannot imagine how to control yourself and even be able to have a public funeral in the first place.
She was always reliable, and she was always there.
Sources tell us that investigators believe Vitel's may have been moving herself or someone else into this Kips Bay apartment in the building where her late mother lived. They do not believe Vitel's knew the squatters, who were told came in while she was tidying the apartment.
Unfortunately, there are so many
horrible cases because you create serious confrontation. Because just imagine you enter your own home to find people there.
State Assemblyman Jake Blumenkranz sponsors a bill to weaken some of the so-called squatters' rights in New York. Currently, squatters may be legally considered tenants after 30 days in a unit.
There is virtually no recourse for when someone is gaming
Who
the
wrote
system
this
here.
law?
So all this
Who
does
wrote
is
this
remove
law?
the loophole and remove those who are trying to use the system.
Sources tell us the suspects in Vitel's case were last seen trying to buy a used car in Pennsylvania dealerships. Anyone with information on their whereabouts is asked to call the NYPD. In Kip's
Hey, New York is hell at this point. New York is hell. We got to find a different place to have our meetup. I don't know if I can have a meetup in New York at this point. I have a meetup every year in New York. New York is literally hell. It's a hellhole. Gosh. Wealth building journey of the building says, hold on to the White House. How about Biden hold on to his sanity for starters and walk around without stumbling while we're at it? And then this dude got the nerve to just be walking around and still petitioning and saying, hey, we need your vote. Fly Girl says, how did the illegal stat those votes, Harrison Biden shirts? This is so organized. Shout out to Fly Girl Candy. I appreciate you. Ash in the building says, thank you, black folks, for assisting leftist white liberals to get elected to the White House. No reparations for you. Jonathan Wilson says, this is the purge. I feel like we in the purge right now. Jonathan Wilson says, bringing myself to the front of the congregation, voting for Biden was one of the biggest mistakes. Appreciate the great content. Shout out to Jonathan Wilson. Hey, you more brave than most people. Poet Up says, America is falling and the market of beasts will be here by 2030 at the max. I'm going off the grid. Nah, I'm staying on the grid, big dog. I'm going to stay on the grid. I need my modern amenities. AJ Wise, and I'm going to just pray too. AJ Wise says they're going to arrest and release them. They don't even know who they are. They don't even got no names. If it was you or me, they would be like, Anton Daniels, a popular YouTuber, is alleged, they wouldn't even say alleged, have kicked somebody in their face and stomped them inside of the whatever. Make sure that you be on the lookout for him. Here is all of his addresses. We're going to also dox him. That's what they would do to me. But again, as these migrants continue to take over the world, they're creating new laws to stop squatters. You know what's so funny? I did a show about a month ago, less than a month ago probably, where there was a guy that was on Fox News and everybody ignored it and it was like, oh, that's just wishful thinking. And I did a show where I was on Fox, where the guy was on Fox News and he said, hey, y'all, these squatters are learning squatters' rights. They're learning, they're evolving. They're like AI. They're learning squatters' rights. And he said, listen, not only are they coming over here and they learning on TikTok how to get here, but they also are evolving and they realizing how to get into these homes and legally, based off of the laws that's set up in the United States of America, legally be able to take over your home and live there for free. He said it. Now, this guy right here, and it's funny because I actually talked about this on the Anton Daniels channel yesterday. This guy right here is an example of it, and a lot of y'all been sending this stuff to me, and he's accumulated a ton of followers on social media, including TikTok, where he's talking about and advising people and squatters on how it is that they can go over and take over Americans' homes. They're taking over your home.
Now let's look at how illegal immigrants in the US are capitalizing on the leftist laws in blue states and educating others to do the same.
Mi gente, he pensado invadir.
Okay, hold on. Before we get into him, because he don't even speak English, but he over here in the United States of America, walking freely on roads that you paid for with your tax dollars. All right? When you see this guy talking, does he look like a safe space? You know what I'm saying? Does this guy look like the type of person that you would run into and you walking down the street with your little puppy and your daughter holding their hands and they're over here walking around the United States of America and he don't speak English and he's talking on he's talking on his mobile device and he's telling you, hey, listen, And he's yelling like this. And he's telling the people, listen, you can come over here to America. They're not going to do nothing to you. And if you do, they will, if they do something to you, then they're going to protest on your behalf. And they're going to do Brown Lives Matters. And you can come over here and you could take somebody else's property. Listen to him.
Una casa en United States. Ya que me enteré que existe una ley que dice que si una casa no está habitada, podemos expropiarla.
If a house...
This is crazy. This is insane. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Listen to what he's saying.
Mi gente,
I have a thought about invading a house in the United States. They're saying this openly on the internet. I found out that there is a law that says if a house is not inhabited, we can seize it.
If a house...
Hey, I found... How did they find this out? Who told them about the law? Who read it to them? Who gave them the insight and information? Who gave them the alley-oop in order for him to be able to dunk it? Hey, guys, I came over into America and I found out that it's a law that if we go into a house that's not necessarily inhabited, they can be on vacation, they can be overseas. A lot of y'all passport bros think that you're going to come home and you ain't going to see a migrant that's ready to stuff you inside of the closet. Hey, guys, I found it a law. And you can come over here and you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, and they're going to protect you from it. And they leveraging it. They're literally leveraging it. And so now we always reactive. We're never proactive. They're trying to put together a law, a bill that prevents squatters from being able to have rights. As though we shouldn't have removed that from the bill, from the laws in the first place. This is insane.
Now to a 7 on your side investigation into a growing problem in the tri-state area, squatters living in other people's homes, all on the homeowner's dime. And we've told you about a few cases over just the past 2 weeks.
And it's all due to a legal loophole, a loophole that some people are working hard to close.
Investigative reporter Dan Kraut joining us now with what he's found. Dan.
Yeah, New York has a long history of passing laws to protect tenants from greedy landlords, and for good reason. But some lawmakers say those laws have gone way too far. They say it also allows dishonest people to milk the system and to get free housing for years. We've heard from homeowner.
We are at the mercy of the squatter, the criminal.
After homeowner.
I don't have access. They changed my side locks and they changed my entire front door.
Who are fighting with squatters who have taken over their homes. In New York, if you call the police on someone who moved in without permission, if they claim to be a tenant, they can't be arrested for trespassing. The homeowner instead has to take them to court.
It's an unfortunate upside-down world.
Jake Blumenkranz is trying to change that.
They know how to work the law to stay for a certain number of days and kind of work the system.
In New York, squatters have rights after 30 days. That means the property owner can't change the locks on them, can't remove their belongings, can't cut off the utilities, or they could be arrested. Instead,
so you got to pay for them to have utilities. If you look, if you cut off the utilities, and you say, hey, I don't want these utilities in my name, they're not even supposed to be here, and I definitely want to cut off the utilities. Do you know you could be arrested? Do you know that if somebody walks into your property, takes over it, live there for free, and you decide to cut off the electricity and they decide to do a grow or whatever in their own name or in your name, and run up the electric bill, do you know that you can get arrested for cutting off the utilities? Oh, man, you got to pay for them to stay at your property. New York is a joke. Shout out to Eric Adams in New York.
Dead property owners must go through the court system to get rid of them, a system that could take close to 2 years for resolution.
People could stay in a home for years, without having justice brought to them for staying essentially for free and making a homeowner have to pay their bills.
His newly filed bill is pretty simple. It states a tenant doesn't include squatters.
You're basically defining what a tenant is.
Absolutely.
And making sure that squatters can't take advantage of the law.
That's all we're doing.
It would mean if someone breaks into a home without permission or documents,
police can have the authority to arrest
And
them.
make sure
That sounds
iBash
very
is not
easy.
blocked, y'all.
You'd think
or timed
so.
out.
But unfortunately, there are many people here who are trying to fight against legislation like this.
Who is behind the opposition?
Unfortunately, there's a lot of squatter advocates, people who think that these individuals deserve more rights than those who own property.
Who's a squatter advocate? I've never heard of that before in my life. I've seen a lot of. No, I'm gonna have to review that. We might have to do another live stream at some point this weekend or something. I've seen a lot of people advocate for a lot of stupid things. I've never in my life seen people advocate for squatters. Is that really a thing? Do people really advocate for squatters? They got new squatter laws over in Florida too. Look at these people.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. All 50 states have what are called squatters' rights. That can make it very difficult to have someone removed from your own property. But how and when these laws are enforced varies by state. Now, Florida lawmakers have now passed a bill to make it easier to get rid of squatters. It's House Bill 621. It authorizes property owners to request action by the sheriff's office to immediately remove them from your home. The bill passed the Florida Senate last week.
Tanner Stewart is in the studio to break down this new piece of legislation and how it impacts here locally.
So, Bob, before the bill was signed into law, squatters are considered tenants in the eyes of the law. Now squatters will soon face criminal charges for violating what was once within their rights.
39 yeas, 0 nays, Madam President.
In a unanimous decision, the Florida Senate is making it easier for property owners to rid their areas of squatters. Senator Keith Perry led the charge on House Bill 621 that allows property owners to file an affidavit showing the property doesn't belong to those who are occupying it. The bill creates stiff penalties for violators, like a second-degree felony for damage to a home, and first-degree felony for fraudulently selling or leasing the property. The sheriff's required to serve the notice and remove unwanted occupants without delay.
This is an important bill if you see the stories of what happens.
Let me give a round of applause for both Florida and Texas. You see that, y'all? Why did it reconnect me to the internet when I had already been on another piece of the internet? Anyways, but immediately saying that, look, it automatically switched me over, I guess, once the internet restored itself from the storm outside. But Florida said, look, we can immediately remove you, but not only are we going to immediately remove you, we also going to slap you with a couple felonies to go along with it. I agree with that.
It is egregious what these people are getting away with.
I like that word, egregious. That's one of my favorite words.
WEAR has covered several squatter-ridden properties over the years, including this home on Lejeune Drive. It's since been cleaned up, but not before a months-long battle in the courts. Pensacola City Councilwoman Jennifer Breyer helped find a solution here, but says the time it took was overwhelming.
We still had to give them notice that they were being evicted. They had to be given time, and that, I think, is shocking to the owners, that someone is illegally within their home and yet they have to still go through that process. So I can see how this new law would really aid people that are in that situation.
Breyer says this bill is long overdue for both property owners and residents living nearby.
It was affecting.
Why don't they completely remove squatters' rights altogether is what I'm trying to understand. Like, why don't they, is it a way for us to do away with bills? Is it a way for us to be able to do away with these laws and these bills that shouldn't be protecting squatters in the first place? Why do you have to create another bill in order to fight another bill, to override another bill? Why don't we just get rid of the original bill or the original law that allows for them to continue to squat in the first place and just remove them? We need to simplify the law. If you steal, somebody has the reasonable right to be able to hit your thumb with a sledgehammer, in addition to going to jail. If you break into somebody's home, they don't have to wait to try to figure out if it's a threat. They just have the ability to be able to defend their home. If you squat, you can let dogs loose inside of the house, vicious pit bulls, and then let them go and find the people to see if they're supposed to be in there or not. And as they run out, I don't know what could happen. I think that the laws should be that simple. You have the right to be able to defend your home if somebody is in it however you see fit. I don't really understand. Like, that should be the law.
Their sense of security, their sense of well-being, their financial aspect for people who have had someone overtake their home. The idea that they have to do rights with a person that is essentially stealing their home is pretty overwhelming and shocking to them.
The bill's now awaiting the governor's signature.
Go ahead and get that signed in, DeSantis, so we can get that popping. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all popping off. Fly Girl Candy says, how are illegals entering with Biden-Harris shirts? Who's providing this? Facts. Facts. I still want to re-acknowledge sister. I just got to acknowledge her again. I just got to acknowledge her. I think that she's just one of the most giving and helpful people on a platform. So I'm just overwhelmed. BizQ says cameras and alarms that is registered to the local police ring kit. $500 plus $10 a month. You can catch them as they break in, and you won't have this problem. Dang, it's so silly that we even got to have this conversation in the first place, that I got to hurry up and put something on my house to prevent you from being able to live there for 30 days if I decide to go on vacation in Florida. Man, this is crazy. End of times, boy. Brittany B says, I bet you Native Americans are Get Back Gang. Shout out to Get Back Gang. Chris James, my dog, says for some failover equipment. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. We getting it popping. Y'all see the stream didn't end though, right? Tech Coach Ralph says, thank you, Florida. Shout out to Florida. My girl Brittany B says, shout out to Christopher Columbus, the OG squatter. No, he just came over and took over everything. He just won. He just won. You know what I'm saying? Wealth Building Journey says, time. Laws that aren't passed the proper way can be legally challenged. Legislators have an army of lawyers to make sure laws they pass are legal. This whole world is going to hell anyway, so it don't even matter. It's just a matter of time. I'm waiting on Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm just waiting on Jesus to come back. But before we end the show, I know that she thought that I was going to forget about the fact that she dropped that week. This is Friday, right? Is it past 12 o'clock? It's almost 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. Eastern. All right, so let me go ahead and say it. I know that she thought that I thought that she thought that I thought that I forgot that she dropped that weak-ass podcast. She said, I got to get my followers up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay the Thornton Township supervisor and the Dolton mayor any longer. Yeah. She thought that we forgot about her. We ain't forget. We did not forget. She skipped out on a meeting about this whole sexual assault case. But before she skipped out on a meeting, remember that whole law where she was trying to raise taxes on the people over there in Illinois, on the people over there in Dolton, and the people in Thornton Township supervisors? Remember when she was trying to raise taxes and then she labeled it as mental health? Well, that didn't quite go the way that she thought it was going to go first.
One issue that represents a relatively small group of people in the south suburbs is a tax to support new mental health services to be offered by Thornton Township. It would have added about $42 to a $100,000 home. Not too controversial, right? But it is in this case because Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard has faced an onslaught of criticism after our reporting on her lavish spending on first-class travel, meals at high-end restaurants, and claims that she retaliates against her critics. In fact, this tax that was on the ballot to support mental health services, 11 of 17 South suburban mayors came out against it. They essentially said, vote no, we don't trust what Tiffany Henyard will do with the money.
Okay, and apparently people
don't trust
because
her.
Look at this. This is the result tonight from that. 38% of the people voted yes, but the 62%, that's what counts, voting no, saying they do not support that referendum for.
What? Okay, so look, here's my question. Okay, I know that it didn't pass. I know that people say that they don't trust her. But why is there such a low voter turnout rate? Y'all don't care about what's happening? Do we care over here in Detroit and Chicago and Louisiana and LA and Alabama and New York and Florida and Atlanta and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and all of my people? Are we the ones that care more about what's going on? I mean, man, I'm about a year away from having more people in my live stream than voted for this whole referendum. So we know that failed because the people don't trust you, and so integrity matters, all right? So since that failed, then the people over there in Dolton said, listen, we still ain't forgot. We ain't forgot. Shout out to DJ Ace that said, we ain't forgot. We want to hold you accountable. And the mayor was expected to actually show up to the meeting where the trustees was addressing an investigation into the Las Vegas trip. But she never showed up.
Tonight in South Suburban Dolton, residents got the chance to address the controversy surrounding embattled Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Complaints include sexual harassment, retaliation, and discrimination, and a controversial trip to Las Vegas last May. NBC5's Regina Waldrop was at tonight's meeting in Dolton.
A concerned community seeking answers.
I know you're going to ask for an investigation. I'm hoping that means the administration will have nothing to do with it.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard was absent from this special Dolton Village Board meeting. She and a village trustee who is not named are at the center of an investigation by the Illinois Department of Human Rights. The probe is focused on what allegedly happened on an economic development trip to Las Vegas last May. Henyard's former assistant who filed this complaint claims she was sexually assaulted by an unnamed Dolton trustee on that trip. We're not naming the woman because NBC5 does not name people who possibly were a victim of a sexual assault. In a statement, the village told NBC5 it conducted a thorough investigation into these allegations led by an independent third-party company. The statement goes on to say this is nothing more than a disgruntled village employee trying to make off with the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars.
Y'all was, ma'am, she's alleging that y'all was partying in Vegas. What are you talking about?
Trustee Jason House says the village board knew nothing about that investigation and are now asking for their own independent investigation into what happened on that trip to Vegas.
Yeah, why would they trust her to do her own investigation on herself and to hire her own third-party investigator? Who is these people? Harpo, who is these people?
Also seeking direction to ask our attorney to find an independent body that has subpoena authority to conduct an investigation, so that way we know it's independent, it's thorough. We really feel like this puts the village at complete jeopardy because this trip, this was a village paid for trip.
And when it comes to finances, trustees who were here tonight say they recently won a court case getting the clerk's name back on the village bank account. They say it had been improperly removed. The next Dolton Village Board meeting is...
Wait. You telling me she ain't 25-0? So wait a minute. They just won a court case to get the name of whoever it is back on the bank account so that they can be able to properly monitor what the spending is going on. That I guess the village of Dolton or Tiffany Henyard or whomever it is in charge allegedly removed from the bank account so that they can do things without any kind of visibility whatsoever. So you telling me she ain't 100% winning? Oh my gosh, this lady is crazy.
The village of Dolton's mayor and her allies have been under scrutiny for questionable spending and mounting bills.
And as those discussions go on, community members joined tonight at a special board meeting. WGN's Courtney Spinelli is joining us from the Dolton Park District with more from the meeting. Courtney.
Ray and Jenna, good evening. Board of Trustees members in attendance tonight discussed several agenda items. Those include the reportedly dire financial state of the village, as well as new allegations into alleged sexual misconduct by a trustee.
So we're trying to create normalcy even throughout challenging times.
Look at that. Look at that good stand-up guy right there. Married man, strong jawline. God-fearing, executive. Look at this. He should have been the one that was in the position, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. God works in mysterious ways, though.
A canceled regular board meeting forcing some trustees to call a special board meeting Thursday. Financial concerns once again at the forefront.
I just want to.
It's only one trustee that's missing. It's only one trustee that's missing. Hiding, Hadn't that trustee just so happened to have an afro, I don't be trusting people with these with these old school afros. Hadn't
everyone, we are in bad shape.
In February, the board approved a resolution calling for an investigation into Henyard and her spending of village funds, something vetoed by the mayor weeks later and tabled for a later time. The mayor facing claims she misused village funds, improperly appointed employees, spent money on unapproved services, and withheld financial records from the board of trustees.
We're in March of 2024. We have no idea how much debt we're really in.
Man, that's
Some
crazy.
trustees begging the state to step in and help.
Who's going to save us? Somebody has to save
Time Dog is on the way.
Also on the agenda Thursday, discussion of an alleged incident that happened on a taxpayer-funded trip to Vegas. A pair of complaints filed with the Illinois Department of Human Rights accuse a Dolton trustee of sexual misconduct on a village employee. It came up during Thursday's meeting.
There are terrible allegations that many people are aware of.
The board Thursday asking for information on any independent investigations into the claims, including any findings. The accused trustee previously telling WGN Investigates he denies the allegations and says he was just trying to help a colleague, while the village also denies claims it retaliated against the former Henyard aide and a police officer after reporting the possible sexual misconduct.
As at this moment, I'm left to believe that no investigation really occurred, which I think is very frightening and dangerous.
He absolutely wasn't.
Some community members echoing concerns over the allegations, with several calling on the unnamed trustee to step aside during any potential investigation.
And I do not, and I hope the rest of you agree with me, do not want him sitting there representing me or my village. Thank you.
Now, we are not identifying the accused trustee because no charges have been filed against him. As for the resolution calling for an investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard, something she vetoed at a regular board meeting several weeks ago, we do know that trustees plan to put that back on the table and plan to override her veto at the next regular board meeting. Reporting live.
So Tiffany continues to be the Teflon Tiff. That's what she thinks she is. It's all gonna come crashing down. Tiff, you're breaking my heart, baby. You're breaking my heart, baby. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Shout out to Tiffany Henyard out there in Dolton running it up on the taxpayer's dime. Prince Elian says, good day, Mr. Daniels. Are you familiar with Yuri Bezmenov? Just emailed you a 1984 interview of him explaining the planned chaos and the downfall of the United States of America. I'm not, but I am looking forward to reading that email. Enforcer 2K9 says, yo, what happened to Stand Your Ground? Bree Power says, Tiffany's I am your leader. I am your leader. Days in Dolton are numbered. DJ Ace Productions in the building, just supporting the show and appreciation. Tech Coach Ralph, shout out to Tech Coach Ralph running it up over there in the Patreon. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate you, Tech. I appreciate you, Tech Coach Ralph. I'm Technically Tim over there in Canada. Says, thank you for another phenomenal episode of the Millionaire Morning Show. AD, I am just a messenger, but the streets are saying that we need that after hour stream tonight, OG. Well, you might be in luck. You might be in luck. I'm going to talk to my girl, Mika. Oh, y'all ain't know Mika was in town? We working this weekend. We working. I got to figure out what we going to do together. I don't know what we going to do, but we definitely working. Listen, it's snowing outside. You know, when the weather is bad, ain't nothing to do but work. That's what my sentiment is. When the weather is bad, it ain't nothing left to do but work. What, Quentin feeling some type of way? Quentin, I have her hit you up. Don't worry about it, big dog. Ain't nothing to do but work. When the weather is bad, I think that guy be making the weather bad for Time Dog on purpose. He said, yo, time to get to that money, time to work, time to work, time to work, time to work. Mika done already did interviews on the Black Couch. That's my homegirl. We got work to do, y'all. We got work to do. Let me acknowledge the Cash Apps real quick. What up, sister? Kay Cooper in the building. Belle Martin. I'm going to read that super chat shortly, Rich Ramsey. I like that name. Colin Cole is in the building, says, hey, man, they blocked me. Hey, I know y'all ain't blocked I-9 Bash in the building. I know y'all ain't blocked I-9 Bash. No way, no how, no way, no how. No way, no how, no way, no how. Shout out to I-9 Bash. Jenny Jackson says, we need a federal squatter law from Chicago Gen 773. Shout out to Chicago Gen 773. I love Jen. Shout out to Jenny Jackson. I love you, baby. Molly. Got Molly all in my drink. She ain't even know it. Molly, y'all over here getting back. Is my chasers getting rich out here? Is my chasers... Hey, Bitcoin Brown, we working this weekend. Got to finish that site, big dog. Oh, yeah. Carly Russell. So much to tackle. So much news all the time. Rich Ramsey says, NGOs, non-governmental organizations like Legal Aid, Red Cross, World Health Organizations, cartels and others assist illegals and squatters and non-paying tenants. So you saying that these non-traditional organizations is over here helping these people out? I don't like that. Hey, mods, we got to get it together, y'all. We can't be blocking the people. We can't be timing them out. We love our people. Bitcoin Brown says, appreciate you, AD. I appreciate you too, big dog. Shout out to Chicago Jen in the building. I love that girl. Connie Harris, what up, though? Listen, we going to run it up. We're not going to get distracted, and we're going to take care of business. I love y'all. I appreciate you, sister. I don't know, probably was acting up. You know how these people be acting up, and then they get timed out, and they say, hey, I'm blocked. Nah, I don't block them, but then at the same time, y'all get yourselves together, all right? I'm going to figure out if I'm a live stream tonight. We'll figure it out. All right? We got y'all. Brandy, what up, though? Connie, what up? CJ, what up? Ash, I see you. Chris James, what's up? Said you need to act up for a couple of days. Nope, I'm keeping y'all in the house. I think I am going to live stream tonight. We'll see. G-Man313 says, you heard that new K-Dot and Future? I heard the whole album. I got the whole album. I got the whole Future and Metro Boomin album. That junk slap too. Before I started the live stream today, I had that Metro Boomin. Don't know you, I'ma shoot you. Hey. Yeah, I heard it. All right, listen, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Look, everybody is off. I might have to have some kind of discussion tonight on the live stream. I might just let y'all come up on the panel tonight. Because I'm going to just tell you, I listened to the Kendrick verse about 5 times, and I'm not impressed. Just because it's Kendrick don't mean it's dope. I'm not impressed. What up, Eric Daniels? What up, Brittany B? I listened to the verse 5 times just to make sure that I didn't miss nothing. And now the track is sick. When it started playing, I said, oh, man, they got that old school feel to it. Because they remixed the track from the old school. That Kendrick verse was not what people made it out to be. Why? Because he said he ain't no big 3. It's just him. Y'all so easily. That verse was not slapping like this, bro. That was not hitting. Really? Seriously? The beat went sick. Future did his thing. K-Dot was just mid. It was mid. It was a mid verse. He wasn't even. Y'all teaming up. So he talking about J. Cole and Drake. Man, that was not slapping. Stop, bro. Stop. Listen, I listened to all of Cole's features this year. Cole has not, or not even this year, all last year. Cole ain't miss. Cole ain't missed this year. Stop, bro. Stop. That feature, the feature he just did on that Future track, y'all overhyping it, bro. Y'all overhyping it. Y'all just like Kendrick and y'all like to be anti-Drake and anti-Cole, and so y'all want to have some controversy. But I'm going to just keep it real, bro. That was not, it was cool. It wasn't bad. We'll talk about it on After Hours, bro. We'll talk about it on After Hours. I haven't gotten through the whole album yet. I ain't got through the whole album yet. I've been listening to it. I like to sit with it. I like to re-listen to some tracks to make sure I didn't miss what I thought that I missed. Yeah, man, we'll get there, bro. We'll get there, bro. Kendrick did not eat that verse, DK. Y'all just be riding Kendrick's coattails. His last album wasn't even all that. All right, bro. Listen, we'll talk about it on After Hours. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We'll get there. We're going to get there. We might have to have some debate tonight. I could have had that verse without Kendrick, and I would have been straight. All right. I'm going to see. I'll let y'all know if we're doing After Hours tonight. Are y'all following me on Instagram and Twitter and Threads? Because I usually announce if I'm on the fence, I announce, I'm going to be live streaming tonight. All of my links is down in the description of all of my social media. If y'all own any of those platforms and y'all use them, make sure y'all following me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter. Follow me on Threads, follow me on TikTok and all of that. All of my stuff is in the description. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. Let me read a couple more super chats and then we're going to get out of here. It says, y'all stop sleeping on Sean. Shout out to Big Sean in Detroit. Shout out to Big Sean in Detroit. Chris J says, Cole ain't missed, but he's still ducking Kendrick. Nah, ain't nobody ducking Kendrick. Kendrick is a duck. That last album was not hit. Brock says, I still haven't let go of that Black Thought freestyle on Funk Flex. Yeah, that was sick. The Black Thought and Loaded Lux freestyle on Funk Flex. Those are some of my top 2 of all time. All right, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I might see y'all tonight. I'll keep y'all informed. I'll see y'all later. Peace.